I'm Sara Jacobs, and I'm running for Congress in California's 53rd Congressional District. Definitely a night owl. I'm a nerd, so it's The Weeds by Vox Media. Okay, honestly, I don't know, because I'm not allowed to have TikTok because it's a national security threat. I'm Jewish, and a quote that I find really helpful in times like what we're living through is one from the Talmud, and it is, "Don't be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Love justly now, walk humbly now. You are not obligated to finish the task, but neither are you free to abandon it." Window, I love sleeping on airplanes. Good Old Boys Club by Casey Musgraves. I believe we need a new generation of leaders who will look at old problems with a new lens and address them with the urgency that they require. Look at new problems that we're not addressing, like new technology. I don't know about you, but when I see all of those hearings with Mark Zuckerberg and others, with a bunch of people who clearly have never used Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, I get very frustrated. And also because it's not just about policy that we need to think about differently, but also how we do things differently. And we need a new generation of leaders who will find ways to listen to everyone and respect everyone and work together to get things done. Yes. If millennials were adequately represented, we would have about 90 members of Congress. And instead, we barely have 30, and it's only because of the huge numbers that we elected in the last election cycle. And that matters because as a young woman, I didn't need the Me Too movement to know that sexual harassment in the workplace was a problem. I lived it. And as young people, we are the ones who will be dealing with the consequences of decisions being made or not being made right now, longer than anybody else, on issues like climate change and gun violence prevention. And also because we are being impacted by so many of the decisions being made, and we should have a seat at the table, and we have a different perspective. You know, millennials graduated in the Great Recession, and that meant that so many of us couldn't find jobs, we couldn't buy homes, we're still dealing with the consequences. And we're seeing the next generation dealing with the same issues, which is why I proposed an unemployment insurance for graduating seniors, or graduating students, based on their expected future earnings instead of the earnings they had while they were in school. Because really, it's the job they were going to get that they're missing out on because of this catastrophic economy that we have right now. Yes. Oh goodness. As a young woman, you can imagine there are so many things to choose from. Let's see. I've been told I should wear a bikini in ads so that men would want to vote for me. I had a woman told me she didn't want to vote for me because she thought her husband would leave her for me. Like, lady, I don't want your husband. I've been told my hair should look more voluptuous, that my voice is too high or I speak too fast, that I just didn't look right sitting at the head of a table, but they weren't sure why. I once thought I was recruiting a volunteer who turns out only wanted to see if I'd go on a date for them. Yeah, running for Congress as a young woman can be a challenge. I say a few things. The first is, regardless of how hard it is, the only way it's going to get better is if people see more young people, women, people of color in leadership positions. Because the only way they're going to get used to seeing and hearing and respecting leadership that looks different than what they're used to is by seeing it. So if we want things to get better, we have to jump in. The second thing I'll say is that I see a lot of people who get lost by focusing too much on what they want to be instead of what they want to do. So you should find the problem that you really want to solve and then figure out the best way and where you can have the most impact solving it. And that might be running for office, and it might be working for a nonprofit, it might be doing advocacy. But as long as you stay focused on that problem that you want to solve, you won't go wrong. And lastly, especially as young women, I feel like we are told and we really internalize that there's always someone out there who knows more than we do or who's more qualified than we are. But I can tell you, you should do your homework, absolutely. But you're enough right now, and we need you, and we need your voice. So if you think you have a contribution that you can make and that you can make a difference for your community, you should run it, and don't let anyone tell you not to. So thank you for listening and watching. Again, I'm Sara Jacobs, running for Congress in the 53rd Congressional District, and I'd be very honored to earn your vote.
And don't forget that voting is happening now. This election could not be more important. That means we need all of you to get out and vote. So please vote early and vote by mail by November 3rd.